This is a WWN Publishing Group recording. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is an abridged version of Hot Georgia Rein by Martha Sweeney to make the story appropriate for all listeners on YouTube. Read to you by the author. If you want to read the complete story, you can find the ebook or paperback online. Links are provided below in the description. Chapter 19, Ivy. Henry and I rode the rest of the way in a bubble of odd silence between the two of us. Aside from being tired and hungry, my brain and body were on overload with all the things that have been said and done since I came back. I admit, I panicked as soon as he said he'd build me a house like the one we stopped at anywhere I wanted it. What really freaked me out was what he said and how he said things about a family, marriage, a baby, and wanting to give them to me. I want them with him. I got scared when I realized that Henry would probably be okay finding out that I have a son. I freaked because I wasn't ready to tell him. I'm not sure why. He has every right to know if we're going to move forward beyond what we ever were and currently are. I'm starting to feel very confused. I know what I want, but at the same time, I feel like I don't know how to get it. I've created my own conundrum. When I was a teen, I knew exactly what I wanted and didn't hesitate to tell people or go after it, whereas Henry didn't. As an adult and as a mother, I have no fucking clue, yet Henry seems to have it all figured out. I'm sorry, Ivy, Henry's voice says, breaking the long silence between us as we sit at the restaurant waiting for our food to be delivered. For what? I barely eke out. For pushing, he sighs, taking a sip of his beer. Pushing? I ask, unsure of what he means. Henry gives me a pleading look. We've both pushed, I announce. Let's continue to do what we've done since I've gotten here. Have sex every day? Henry checks with a smile. I can't help but laugh. We continue to talk. We continue to grow. We continue being us. And yes, we continue having sex. Good, Henry sighs with relief. I was kind of worried I might be saying and doing too much. Not at all, I reply. I like it. You do? He checks. I do. A lot, I return with a grin. After dinner, Henry and I don't make it back to his place to have sex. Instead, he pulls over onto a dirt path, hiding the truck just beyond the tree line. We start off in the front cab and eventually finish in the truck bed. Henry begs for me to stay the night with him, but I tell him that I'm not ready for that. He asks if it's because he's still at Juliana's house, and I can't lie. I admit that it made me feel a little weird. As we approach my parents' house, Henry reveals that he's in the process of selling Juliana's. He also says that he wants to buy a house, but thinks that an apartment would do him better for the time being. Henry hints to wanting to be available to move more easily, should someone, me, want to live somewhere else. We sit on my parents' front porch swinging for a long while, holding each other as we watch the world around us. The fireflies sparkle their magic across the yard, and a smile forms on my lips at the thought of my nickname. Tonight is calm, serene, and it makes me think of my son. He would love it here out in the wilderness. I like this, Henry says softly in my ear. Me too, I reply. I don't want to leave, he chuckles, but I know you're getting tired. Part of me wants you to come in, I admit sheepishly. Yeah? He returns. Just a little, I say, downplaying it. You can still come back to the barn if you want, he offers sweetly. Tempting, I reply, kissing him. But I should stay here. Henry nods as our lips stay connected. He pulls me onto his lap. I want you, he hums into my neck. More than you can imagine. I giggle as his breath tickles my skin. You drive me crazy, Firefly, Henry says. I've finally gotten to taste you again, and it's like I need you more than all the years I didn't. You do the same to me, I confess. Henry deepens our kiss, sliding his fingers up the back of my shirt. My arms tighten around his neck, and we stay connected for a long while, kissing, touching, caressing. You need to get inside, Henry states. I pout. Henry laughs. If we keep doing this, he claims, it won't be long before we're naked and your papa is running after me with a shotgun for things I'm going to do to you. That wouldn't be a good thing, I giggle. I like you in one piece, all of your pieces. Henry grins, catching my innuendo. Go, he commands sweetly, pushing me gently to a standing position. Our fingers stay entwined as our bodies slowly peel apart. Henry yanks me toward him, kissing me passionately one last time before holding the screen door open for me.
"Night, Firefly," he bids. "Night, Henry," I return, slowly closing the door and locking it in place. Once in bed, I toss and turn, feeling troubled about how I'm going to explain to Henry that I have a son. For a woman who once had her life figured out, now it feels as if I could lose it all. I get up late in the night, needing some tea to calm my nerves. As I sip my drink, I scroll through all the photos I have on my phone of my son. I text Cece even though I know she won't answer right away. My mind wanders back, wondering if and how things would be confusing and if Henry is ready to learn everything about my life that he doesn't know. Anytime I met a guy for a date in the past, the topic of my son would come up. The men never called asking for a second night out and usually skipped out on me not long after finding out. I wasn't going to lie or hide the fact that my son is in my life. A man needs to be able to know what he's getting into. It's just funny how women respond the exact opposite with a single father, eager to engage a man who has a child. It means that he is stable, responsible. Men discover a woman has a child and they run in the opposite direction, even men with kids. "Hey," a low voice says, pulling me from my thoughts. I turn and find Grady standing in the doorway between the kitchen and the main hall. "Hey," I sigh. "Can't sleep?" he asks, sitting down next to me. "Nope," I reply. "Torn?" he checks. "Yep," I huff. "I don't think he'll be mad," Grady offers. I smile. "Me too," I answer. "Maybe after everything is explained." "I'm sorry I've been on your ass about it," Grady says. "I just don't like keeping secrets." "Since when?" I tease. "You know what I mean," Grady replies, nudging me. "Secrets from family? He's family." "Mama said you two have become close," I say. Grady nods. "He's become a good friend," he shares. "Good," I reply. "I'm glad you've had someone to talk to." "Henry and I have done more than talk," Grady states. I lift a brow. "Is there something I should know about?" I goad. "Gross," he returns, shoving my shoulder. "Not that." "Sorry," I giggle. I couldn't help myself. "Yeah, whatever," Grady huffs. Then it hits me. Even though I've known my brother all these years, even while away, I'm just now seeing him for the first time. How could I have missed this? It's so obvious looking back on things and seeing how he's acted and how friends from New York have shared stories. "You know, it's okay, right?" I say, hoping not to freak him out. "What?" Grady inquires. "To be yourself," I encourage. "They'll love you no matter who you love." Grady's eyes bug out a little and I can tell my suspicions are correct. "It's okay," I say, putting my hand on top of his. "I know." "Know what?" Grady denies. I give him a glance, wanting him to know that I know what I'm talking about, but also that I love him and I'm not judging him. Grady stares at me blankly, trying to keep his face to be as devoid of emotion as possible. "I have a friend you might like," I present. "What's she like?" he questions. "He is sweet." "A lot like you," I inform. "You mean she is sweet," Grady checks. "If that's what you need to hear it as, sure," I confirm. "How long have you known her?" he inspects. "Since college," I reply. "Not long after I met Cece." Grady nods but doesn't comment. "I love you," I say, squeezing his hand. "That won't change things between us. That won't change things between you, Mama, and Papa." "You don't know that," Grady says, lowly, opening up just a bit. "I do," I confirm with a smile. "I'm the one who got knocked up, remember?" "Yeah, but you've got your own business," Grady reminds. "I know you're working," I state. "Do they?" "No, not really," Grady returns. "Why not?" I search. He shrugs. "It's never good enough compared to what you do," he claims. "Oh, Grady," I sigh, shifting so I can hug him. "You silly man, don't you know? It's not a competition with anyone other than yourself." "Sure it is," he argues softly. "No, sweetie," I confirm. "It's a matter if you're happy being who you are, doing what you love, with the people you love. Nothing else." "Really?" he questions, not convinced. "They just want to see you happy," I share. "Honest, I know because that's what I want. Just for you to be happy." Grady regards me for a long time. "Your friend is he single?" "Yes," I confirm. "No, I mean, is he someone I've met before?" Grady checks. "In passing," I say. "You weren't around him long enough to discover that on your own. But most people who know him don't even know, not unless he shares." "What do you mean?" Grady searches. "He's like you," I state. "The non-stereotypical type that Hollywood makes you out to be. Most times when we're out together, they think we're a couple." Grady nods with a small grin. I think you two would get along, I mention. Will you introduce us the next time I come up? He inquires nervously. I'd be happy to, I agree. We'll go out, just you, me, Cece, and him. Cool, Grady sighs. But please don't say anything to anyone. I'm not ready. Yet. Just like me, I remind. I'm so sorry I've pushed you, Grady says honestly. I really am. You were just protecting your own insecurities, I reply. Trust me, I understand. Thanks, he returns, hugging me. So, what have you been up to for work? I inquire. Working for Henry, actually, Grady shares. Working for Henry? What do you mean? I search. Don't you mean with Henry? Yes, Grady confirms. I mean working with Henry. Henry, I question, processing his statement. Wait, you mean my Henry? Grady laughs. He's yours now? He probes playfully. Yeah, kind of, I reply, not wanting to explain the whole mess of it right now. Yeah, you're Henry, he confirms. He didn't mention it? No, I reply. He said it was in construction. Sounds like you both need to talk more, Grady states. We haven't mentioned a lot of things to each other, I reveal. I can't fault him for not sharing everything. Look at me. But he didn't say you worked with him. Might want to start doing that, Grady teases. Talking, that is. I know, I quip. Don't remind me. Too much sex. You two need to be tied down and not allowed to have any until you talk shit out, Grady claims. Funny, I giggle. The tying down part I'd be into. Ew, Grady exclaims, slapping my arm. I don't want to know about your sexual perversions. I laugh, knowing that I got to him. In all seriousness, which company do you and Henry work for? The one that owns Holly Ridge, Grady says. Wow, really? I reply. Don't sound all surprised or anything, Grady quips. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that, I defend. How did you mean it? He checks. I'm sorry, I sigh. I'm not really surprised that you're both working for that company. I just didn't expect it. It's a beautiful property, and the buildings are stunning. I'm just teasing, Grady says, bumping my shoulder with his. They're pretty cool on the inside, too. The new owner has his act together. They recently sold? I check. The original builder wasn't paying us for a while, Grady informs. Someone came in and bought them out, offering a deal before it hit the news. Wow, I sigh. All's good, Grady returns. I'm going to bed. I let out a yawn. Yeah, I should too.
This is the end of this chapter. Thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying the story so far. To read the full unabridged version, you can find a link in the description below. To find out about new releases before the general public, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter. You'll find a link also in the description. Also, to be notified when the next chapter is published, make sure you subscribe to my channel.